city organized operation that's supposed to be meeting the paycheck of an employee.
Right, and they only are the only game in town, so why do they have to meet any kind of particular standards?
We've built a great product. Let's not destroy it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's continue on with our film footage here, because we're going to get to some juicy stuff here, I promise.
A week or something like that. Where you're going, you're defeating competition. Where it is now, we have competition. So you can legislate rates, you can legislate competition, but it's better to have the information out there and let the consumer fight it out.
Why?
Better extent. Because you say that consumers are interested in saving money. Well, then show them how they can save money and show the garbage collectors that we're promoting more competition in the city. We're promoting this information, and if you want to keep your customer and not lose it to Mahoney or something like that, then you've got to be more competitive in your rates. Right now, it's legally on the website, and I'd say that's all. It's legally on the website. And I would say probably nobody here has looked at the rates.
I couldn't find it.
Well, most people weren't concerned about the rates. They were concerned about choice and the government taking the choices away from them.
But now the bottom line argument is rates.
Right.
Well, and so that's my perspective. I'm not speaking for the council.
No, but I mean...
My impression is that that is the overriding thing driving it. That doesn't mean that the other parts of the argument aren't also worth discussing.
Well, they really can't enter the traffic argument because we've got FedEx, we've got UPS, and we've got minimum of half a dozen buses in the morning and half a dozen buses in the afternoon. So you can't measure an argument a couple hours a week, one day, with the amount of truck traffic we have now.
Well, that is an interesting argument. I've always enjoyed the argument where people say, well, there's so much of this going on that we shouldn't do anything about it. And that's what that argument is. And
It's a
so
public,
it's
public
like,
road, so anybody can use it.
it's like, you know, there's so much pollution that we really shouldn't try to do anything about it. And that's a silly argument.
Well,
So the thing is, we have so much competition in the trash hauling business, we've got to do something about it.
Exactly. Plus also, let's remember that we're not going to be taking on the responsibility of trying to reduce the amount of waste and things that might be exported out of here. We're going to just let it go as standard fodder.
So anyway, let's we got some more film footage here. I know we're getting down to our last 10 minutes or so, so let's squeeze this in.
5% of the problem. It's like nationally they're worried about earmarks. Earmarks is less than 1% or 0.1% of our budget, and so it's got visibility, but it's not accomplishing anything. And so the traffic, I don't think you can approach it. We want less trucks on the roadway, and so we're going to have only one truck.
Yeah, so there is an argument that you can make, having the environmental pollution part of that. There is an argument that can be made, which, you know, we haven't talked about any of these, but having to do with the impact on our streets and the fact that, you know, we have to...
They haven't done a study on that, though.
The trucks are getting bigger and bigger, that's for
They came up
sure.
and said there has not been a study on the impact on the streets.
Absolutely,
That's
there's been
just
hundreds,
people
there's
saying
been
that.
hundreds of studies, and so
No.
those
there
studies...
hasn't been.
Then why did they say there hasn't been a study?
Who's they?
It was said at that meeting.
By who?
I don't know who said it.
Well, so if it's like you saying it right now,
Well,
that doesn't have a lot of impact because you don't
Well, the
know.
thing is-
Well, one of the things too with the traffic on the road and the trucks, I mean, they've been redesigning the trucks too, so some of the trucks are actually getting bigger, but they also have been redesigned in a way that's different than even maybe 10 years ago, in that the type of materials that are used for the parts are less weight, and that they've also constructed them in a way so that their center of gravity has shifted, so that way it's a more centrally located too. And but there is a question about, you know, because I was thinking about how they were getting so big too. You know, they're getting bigger and bigger and that kind of thing. But then, you know, I guess they've had a little change in how they've been constructed. But the thing that I guess that I found interesting, and Mr. Rossbach, you had indicated this, is that you were not interested in any kind of change that would incorporate it an additional fee, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That you would not vote for something that incorporated an additional pass-through fee, and that your concept of what you were thinking is that the city would negotiate some great contract or deal that citizens could opt in if they wanted to, and if they didn't want to pick that one, well, then they could still go pick their own choice. And
You're misstating my statement.
oh, okay, I guess that's what I thought you said. So I thought it was a great idea.
What I said was that I did not want to set something up that was a revenue stream for the city.
Right, okay.
Certainly, if the city is monitoring the contract and negotiating contracts and whatnot, there would be some costs. But versus, and I said precisely at that meeting, for example, in North St. Paul, they have a revenue stream that they get each year, which they can then put into their general fund.
Yeah.
And so I said, I don't want that.
Okay, but isn't that the same as an administrative fee then, that you would charge? Isn't that a revenue stream?
Well, there is revenue to cover our costs. There's not revenue for us to put into the general fund to use for
Oh,
whatever we want.
I see. Oh,
And so
okay, I
it's not
thought-
like we can
okay.
do things for, free.
I see. Okay,
so
because
that-
I misunderstood. I did misunderstand, because I thought you said that you would not, you would not support something that put an additional revenue stream, and I took that to mean to cover the administrative costs. I see there's two separate types of things. Okay, I understand. Because I was going to tell you, I was going to say, that sounds like a great idea, but then my question would be, is that if you negotiated such a contract like that, would then the company who came in and said, yeah, we will give the whole city this really cut rate price, will they require a certain amount of number of participants within the whole city in order to
Well, and you're
do
misstating
that?
that too.
No,
because
that's my question.
Okay, well,
I mean,
so
because
know-
that's my
It
question.
would be impossible to set up a system that allows people to just choose if they want to.
But, okay, but I thought you said that if you picked a contract, had a contract that was a lower price, that people would just gravitate to that, and they would pick that because it was the lowest price, but if they didn't like that, they could pick somebody else.
No, I've never said anything like that, Diana. And so I did say that
You did?
I would hope that we would be able to design a system that people would choose, because there's all this talk about we want to make our own choice. Well, and if we have a good enough design, I would hope that it would be what people would tend to choose. It would offer the best service, it would offer the best prices. And so if
Okay.
people did a side-by-side comparison, why wouldn't they choose that?
Okay,
And so.
okay, see, because
But you
I'm
couldn't
sorry.
possibly negotiate a contract with a company without them knowing how many customers they're going to have.
Well, that's why was my question, is that's what I was thinking, but I was thinking, well, this is sort of a novel concept, it's sort of like public option and trash collection. And I thought, oh, that's a really novel idea, I kind of like that idea. So, I was going to compliment you that was kind of a novel way of looking at
That's kind of
it,
what
but
we've
now
got
you're,
now.
but now
I
you're
mean-
telling me that that's not what you were saying, so forget it, I guess.
Wait a minute, I think one thing we need to look at here, we're talking about the rates that,
So anyway, so that was our exchange, and then that's when it dawned on me that what I thought I had heard at the November 15th workshop wasn't anything like what